Jaja Binks, Jaja Binks. Me say your humble servant, Jaja Binks, Jaja Binks. Oh, muy, I love you, Jaja Binks. Me say go Jaja Binks.
Hello everybody, some would say I'm the reverse, and welcome to my review for The Flash Season 9, Episode 13, the series finale, titled A New World Part 4 Finale. That's really the best title that they could come up with, I guess. So yeah, it's the series finale. I guess before I get into this actual episode, the review and what I thought of it, let's just take a moment to talk about what this series has meant to me throughout its run. I'm not gonna lie and say that this series saved my life or anything like that. No, it was my favorite show for a long time as a kid. Though I started watching this show when I was 10, I think. Yeah, 10, almost 10 maybe. And I just really looked forward to every single Tuesday when it was on for those first few years. And, I kind of fell out of love with the show. I stopped watching in Season 7, and then, of course, I eventually caught up and in time for Season 9. But, yeah, this show was just, it was so good back then. And it, unfortunately, over the years, it has gotten worse and worse and worse. It's been very up and down in quality, but regardless of how it is now or how it has been for the past few years, I will never forget those first few years of this show and what they meant to me and how damn good they were and how excited I was week in and week out. So I do want to thank The Flash, the cast, the crew, because those first few seasons that they made were something real special to a lot of people, including myself. So, yeah. And even these recent seasons, they aren't my cup of tea, but, it's cool that this show gets to end off on its own terms. However, let's get into this actual episode. The series finale really wasn't good. It really was not good. First off, it is rushed. This episode needed to be at least an hour long. And it was just your average 42-minute episode, and it did not have enough time to pay off all the things set up and all the things that it tried to do. So it ended up being super rushed. They set up all this stuff and just resolved it really quickly, and they just misused their time. And it really stinks because if this episode was an hour, I feel like it would have been a lot more enjoyable, but it's not an hour long, so it's not as enjoyable as it could have been, unfortunately. So, let's just start talking about story details. First off, the Cobalt Blue storyline. Eddie has definitely been the highlight of the past 3 episodes. Here, he was fine. He's definitely not as good as he was in the previous 2. He's kind of just there in this episode. I mean, he does have a few cool moments. I don't know, it's just, he's there. He's got his suit, he's got Cobalt Blue, he goes by that name now. He's a full-fledged supervillain. It's fine. Of course, the big thing about this storyline is that he brought back all the Speedster villains from the past. Savitar, Zoom, Godspeed, and Thawne, and Eobard Thawne. And that is my big complaint with this episode. They just completely waste those characters. They bring back Savitar. They don't mention that it's Future Barry. They don't take his mask off. Obviously, I know Grant had COVID, but still, they don't even mention that. They barely mention anything to do with Savitar's storyline. So it just feels like he's there in spirit and not there physically, which sucks. Not to mention, they had Nora kill him. He stabbed her, she phased through it, and then she stabbed him with his own, spike thing, and that is just bad. It's bad. And then, not only did they have Nora kill him, but after she killed him and he was on the ground, dead, they had her say, "Shui. Are you kidding me? Oh my god." It was so bad. Let's talk about Thawne quickly. Thawne, Surprisingly wasn't bad for the most part. Eric Wallace's Tom Cavanaugh Reverse Flash has been really cringy over the past few years with the lines and the delivery and all that. But this episode, he was actually pretty in character with like season 1 Thawne with his writing and the lines they gave him. And Tom Cavanaugh did a pretty good job with the role. That being said, he was defeated by Allegra. He showed up at Star Labs when Chester was there alone and tortured him with some force lightning. I don't know why he didn't just snap his neck or, vibrate his hand into his chest like he always does. No, he took his sweet time. He, electrocuted Chester almost to death, and Allegra showed up and saved Chester from Thawne, and defeated him with a big UV light ray blast, which is ridiculous. And then after that, we get like a 45-second scene of Allegra trying to revive Chester. He, of course, is not dead, and they have a kiss. Again, super dramatic, and oh my god. Next, Godspeed. I mean, Godspeed wasn't good ever, so I'm not super pissed about him being cringy again. What pisses me off is that his fight with Cecile, all of a sudden she can fly, all of a sudden she's just throwing him around, and oh my god. Nobody cares about Cecile. Nobody wants her to have all these powers and be the most powerful character on the show. It is ridiculous. I was expecting them to have Cecile and Godspeed fight each other because Cecile actually had a connection to August Hart in season 7, the good August Hart, so I was expecting that, but oh my god, the scene was ridiculous. She's like throwing all the fake Godspeeds around, and they're screaming and as they're flying over the balcony, and then the real Godspeed comes up and he's like, I'm the real deal, you can't beat me, and then she just puts her fingers on her temple, her eyes glow purple, and he has like a brain aneurysm, he screams and he falls over. No stakes, no fight, no nothing. It's just so... Why do they think that we care about this? I feel they're just phoning it in. They're just trying to get to the end as quick as possible, and they don't really care how they do it. They couldn't afford a choreographer or whatever, so they say, you know what, just put your fingers on your temple and, act intense, and, he can fall over. And that's really your final fight between Cecile and Godspeed. Oh my god. But then we get to the biggest disappointment of them all, in my opinion, and that's Zoom. Now, Zoom is... Obviously, he's a great villain. He's never been my absolute favorite. I've always preferred season 1 Thawne. But after the past few years of Eric Wallace's treatment of Tom Cavanaugh Thawne, I've kind of been desensitized to Thawne being mischaracterized and made to look like a chump. So Zoom being made to look like a chump it really irks me because I'm not used to it. Zoom came back, Teddy Sears is back. He got a pretty fun exchange with Godspeed and Eddie and Thawne and all that at the start of the episode. And then he, of course, we get Tony Todd back. Is that his name? I think it's Tony Todd, who does the voice of Zoom. It was great to hear him say one or two lines, I guess. That was cool. And then we have a big fight scene between Zoom and Keone and Mark. That's who they put him against. That's right. Oh my god. He is in a tunnel and he tells them, you can't lock up the darkness, except he doesn't say that exact line. He says it in a different context, in a different arrangement, a different way, and it doesn't really work that well. And then he puts his mask on and he starts running around the walls of the tunnel. And he throws lightning at Keone and Mark. And he doesn't just throw lightning like they used to. He doesn't just throw one big bolt of lightning. No, he force lightnings. Like everyone else on this damn show, he just starts shooting Palpatine lightning out of his fingertips. And Keone catches it, absorbs it because she's like a goddess of life or whatever, of energy, of the world. She shoots it back at him and he is knocked unconscious or he dies or something. I don't even know. It's so dumb. And then we have Cobalt Blue fighting Flash with another speedster fight. I mean, it's fine. It's just your classic Eric Wallace speedster fight. They're running. There's a bit of lightning throwing, I think. There's lightning swords, and that's it. It's boring. Yeah, one thing I did want to mention is that all of their lightning was red, which of course looks good on Thawne because we're used to it, and it looked fine on Cobalt Blue, and I mean, it looked fine on everybody, I guess. It's just, why? What's the point of that? I get that they're being brought back by the negative Speed Force, but it wouldn't have not made sense if they just brought them back with their normal lightning colors. I don't want to see Zoom and Savitar and Godspeed with red lightning. I want to see Zoom with his blue lightning crackling all over his body as he's just standing idle. That's Zoom. I want to see Savitar with his white lightning. I mean, even if he's brought back by the negative Speed Force, that would just mean that without the suit, he would naturally have red lightning, whereas with the suit, he would still have his white lightning, you know? I don't know. It's stupid. I don't know. It's just really disappointing the way that they handled that whole storyline. One thing I kind of did like is that the final showdown was in the negative Speed Force. I would have liked if it was like a better location than just the loft with a red filter. That was kind of boring. Also, the final fight scene between them was between Barry and Eddie was pretty boring, and Eddie was just punching him, and he punched him, and there was some blood that splattered out of Barry's mouth onto the wall, and he like pushed Barry into a picture frame of him and Iris on their wedding day, slammed him through a table and stuff. I don't know. I did like the idea of the series ending with Barry kind of like, basically kind of merging the Speed Force and the negative Speed Force and allowing them to coexist instead of just fighting for all of eternity. That's kind of a cool way to end the show, but they barely even touched on it, honestly. It was just kind of a, let's revive Eddie by doing this, and we're not going to explain it. It's not going to make much sense, but it is what it is. We're at the end. It does not matter. Anyways, what else happened in this episode? Caitlyn came back. Keone left. Caitlyn came back. That was great. It's not like the scene was great or anything. I guess, Keone just... Timeless Wells showed up and was like, hey, you gotta go, become the guardian of life or whatever. And she's like, yeah, that's true. And then she's like, I gotta shed this mortal body. So we get a huge thing of energy. She leaves, and Caitlyn is back in her body. And it's great to see Caitlyn again. I'm glad that they didn't just kill off Caitlyn and leave her dead until the end of the series and until after. It's great to see her back. But yeah. They didn't really acknowledge the fact that Team Flash just was okay with her dying, but it is what it is. Other stuff that happened in this episode. Nora was born, baby Nora. We knew that was coming. I would have preferred if there was a twist and it's Nora and Bart, born now, and she has twins, and they reference back to season 4 when Barry says we're gonna need more diapers. That would have been a great reference, but they didn't do that. Even though Grant said in an interview, Iris's pregnancy isn't going to be what you think. It maybe won't be Nora. Maybe there's some timeline shifts, and then it just ended up being Nora, and there was nothing. I don't know. It was dumb. Joe proposed to Cecile. I mean, about damn time, but I don't really care at this point. Their relationship can, screw off, I guess. I don't really care. I'm trying to think of stuff that happened in this episode, and it's kind of hard, to be honest. Jay Garrick is back. It's cool to see him, I guess. It is always a treat to see John Wesley Shipp on the show. He didn't really do much, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's fine. We did get some closure with Barry's character, I guess, with him, the lightning bolt chose me, so now I'm going to do the choosing. And he throws this lightning bolt into the sky, and he's like, these are the new speedsters, Avery Ho, Max Mercury, Jess Chambers, and it's all speedsters from the comics. That was kind of cool. But yeah, overall, this was not a great finale whatsoever. Very poorly produced, directed, written, and just overall a disservice to all of the villains, all the returning villains. I'm fine with the way that the series ended Barry and Iris's characters. That's fine, I guess. I'm fine with the way that it ended the story with the negative Speed Force and the Speed Force coexisting. It's just overall, this was not well made. It was not well executed, and just not a good finale, which sucks. I guess some people, they can accept 9/10, A New World Part 1, as their version of the finale. They can headcanon that that's the finale. It's definitely a better episode, would have been a better finale, but it is what it is. This is the finale we got. This is the finale that will remain the finale of this show for all of time. So, might as well appreciate it for what it gave us. Which wasn't much. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I guess stay tuned for any future videos I'll be making. I think I'm going to update my tier list ranking with all the Season 9 episodes. I'll probably do a season ranking with some discussion on each season, why I ranked it the way I did. But other than that, I mean, just stay tuned for any videos I decide to put out in the future, because, Flash is done. It's over. No more reviews. No more theories, speculation. So yeah. Tell me in the comments what you thought of this show as a whole, of this season, of this episode. Thank you all for watching. See ya.